Good morning, all. Well, I hope I can make this of interest for you, for each of you. I've been talking heavily about the trifecta approach to the three products and how I feel like that benefits our overall health. When we're taking these three products, we're going to talk a little bit about the reasons why each of these products are beneficial in our overall health and maintaining a strong autoimmune system working throughout our body. So let's go to the first slide. So we're going to talk about reducing risk factors, looking at truly this is a holistic approach. And again, as I said, another reason to consider using the active trifecta, the three products that actives manufacturers that help upregulate our epigenetic and autoimmune system. Next slide. So the epigenetic benefits of these three products, Link, Optimend, and Genomics, can provide the cellular protection, and it's all done through gene upregulation. Let's talk more about that. Next slide. First product in the trifecta line and that I want to talk about, and I don't necessarily like to put these products in any particular order because they each have their individual strength of what they're designed to do. But I wanted to start with the Link product. When we're talking about autoimmune, where do we fix the system first? Well, in my opinion, the best place to start is get your gut in order, and that's really the strength of the Link product. Next slide. And so I've talked a lot, and everybody else has talked quite a bit about the primary ingredient in the Link product being butyric acid. It gives you better gut, body, and brain health. Next slide. So we know that butyric acid is a short chain fatty acid. We know that it's the primary food source or energy source for the epithelial cells that line the gut wall. It's also a signaling molecule. It responds to this at the cellular level, and it's essentially the foundational treatment to total body health. So even though we know that the butyric acid is functioning at the gut level, it doesn't just stop there. It is a systemic product, so it's going to help throughout the body. Next slide. And let's talk a little bit about the microbiome. We talk about the gut, and many people refer to the gut as the second brain. This is where the brain is. The microbes and the microbiome region of the gut is really where things happen. These microorganisms are really the transmission of information to tell cells and genes what they should be doing. And in order to keep that system up and healthy, we have to have a strong gut system. And that's really what Link is providing, is the opportunity to keep the microbiome healthy, but also to keep those epithelial cells nice and healthy so that we get that tight gut function, so that things that need to be absorbed are absorbed effectively, but things that should not be absorbed into the bloodstream is protected from that when the gut is healthy. Next slide. So why do we need butyric acid? Well, here are a few good reasons. I like this slide, excuse me, because it really addresses the function of what butyric acid is doing. So it's an antibacterial action. It upregulates our immune system. It's going to facilitate absorption of ions and water. Its growth and differentiation of the enterocytes, which is really your epithelial cells. The growth of bacterial beneficial bacteria in the intestine, which is really what I just discussed in the microbiome, is what really gets the whole system functioning at the level that it needs to. And it's also improving intestinal for better regulating and keeping that tight junction that I referred to just a moment ago. Next slide. So how does it promote health? Epigenetic regulators are molecules that control where and when certain genes are expressed. And this is what I talk about when you are adding butyric acid into your system. It's systemic. So this is going to happen in cells throughout the body. Butyric acid is a type of epigenetic regulator that can alter the function of proteins that make chemical changes in DNA. And so we talk about NRF2, and we're going to cover that a little bit better when we talk about the genomics product. Link is also a NRF2 activator. Next slide. So here's where I love this diagram because I think it gives a good visual. I think most people are visual learners as well as auditory learners. This slide really gives you an idea what we want, what we don't want. So if you look at the left, you see those epithelial cells nice and tight. They're a light pink and healthy. You go to the right side of that screen where they're bright red and there's big gaps in between. This is how we develop disease processes. So if you're going to get a flu viral infection, it's coming because or certainly can be coming because these epithelial cells are not in a healthy state. So when we look at this, if you look further to the right, you're going to look at some of the things that leaky gut or unhealthy gut sort of gives you issues with. It gives you poor brain function, inability to digest and use foods properly. Poor metabolism and energy is reduced. Negative impact on our immune system. All of these things are not what we want to occur in our body to be able to keep it up to a level where we're fighting off disease processes. Let's go to the next slide. So Link improves gut function and microbiome health. One of the things that it does do well is it upregulates the genes that, and it's the MUC2 genes specifically, that are responsible for strengthening the lining of the gut and the stomach. So this is really, if I had to say one of the most important things Link does is it's going to improve the health of those epithelial lining throughout the gut system. And as I've already mentioned, it's not the only thing it does, but it's one of the most important things that it does. And when we're talking about the trifecta approach, this is really why Link becomes the strength of this trifecta approach. So it's also going to improve the ability of the stomach intestinal lining as well. Allows the nutrients that our cells need, our body needs, make sure that they're absorbed properly and keeps those harmful microorganisms from going where they don't belong. And this is really what the important part of this conversation today is, that we're looking at ways of why these products help us in long-term health, is because we're going to build the body back to the level that it can fight off these diseases. We also know that it strengthens the link between the brain and the gut, since we have some 100 million neurons that call gut their home. So let's go to the next slide. So Link increases metabolism. It's been shown that epigenetically increases the number of mitochondria, and those are the power plants, so the power source of our cells, and they're responsible for the energy production and the metabolism throughout the body. They break down fat cells, improve insulin sensitivity, all of which helps create and use more energy in our body. And these ingredients also do the hormones that make you feel full faster, reducing your desire to overeat. So there's other benefits by increasing metabolism that we can realize as well. Let's go to the next slide. And Link regulates our immune system, and this is the important part. When we talk about the immune system, what we're really focusing on are the genes within our DNA that are specifically assigned to be able to keep the body healthy. Link regulates those genes in that they have a positive impact on the immune system, which is housed and originates at the gut level, but goes throughout all the cells throughout the body as well. That is affecting the DNA in each of the cells throughout the body. Next slide. So it also regulates inflammation. We're going to talk about one of the other products here in just a little bit that is an anti-inflammatory product, but Link does it as well. And one of the slides, and I don't believe I have it in this deck today, but one of the slides we presented numerous times is kind of a three-circle overlay that shows Link, genomics, and Optimend sort of overlapping each other. And here's a good example of this. We're going to talk about Optimend next, but Link is an anti-inflammatory. So, and it has to be. When you think about going back to the slide that I showed that shows the epithelial cells being inflamed and red, we have to have a way to reduce that. Well, certainly Optimend can be beneficial for that, but Link does it at the site, and that's the important part of it. But you can look at some of the other conditions that cause inflammation: blood vessel disease, arthritis in their joints, obesity causes inflammation, ulcer, IBS and IBD, infections, Alzheimer's, diabetes. All of these are conditions that upregulate those inflammatory genes to be able to, because inflammation is a form of healing, but when you get it systemically and you get it to where it's almost a constant effect, then you end up with a number of pathologies that we need to put under control. And Link has the ability to do that starting at the gut level. Next slide. So here's the second product in the trifecta, the Optimend. And this is our true anti-inflammatory antioxidant product. Next slide. So it's a powerful formula. Its approach to manage occasional inflammation as well as chronic inflammation. It reduces those minor aches and pains, but it also reduces the severe pains that people are plagued with from not only diseases, but different types of injuries. The Optimend, by reducing the inflammation systemically, can reduce those chronic pains as well. Next slide. All right, so what is Optimend? Well, it's a solution to low-level inflammation, acute pain. It's also a solution to chronic pain throughout the body. It helps combat in the body the viruses and bacteria and injuries as well. So in our phrase, we're going to be purging by fire, and that's what these anti-inflammatory products are really doing. Next slide. And we know that there are two ingredients in the Optimend product, the tetrahydrocurcumin. We have talked a lot about this. It's essentially the third level of purification of turmeric to be able to come to the level of the extract from turmeric that is broken down by the body. We're actually doing the breakdown at the lab level and putting that product directly into the Optimend product so that the body doesn't have to break it down. We already have done that in the lab to be able to give the very best aspect of the turmeric root to be able to be more effective when we're using it in the body. So what does tetrahydrocurcumin do? Well, it fights inflammation. We can get that. It stimulates the antioxidant response. So in other words, the genes that are antioxidant genes are upregulated with turmeric. It fights degenerative brain processes, is beneficial in heart disease, helps symptoms dramatically with arthritis, and also it can alleviate the symptoms of depression as well. Next slide. The second ingredient in this product is, and we don't talk a lot about this, is Boswellia serrata. And it too has a lot of the same anti-inflammatory properties as tetrahydrocurcumin, but it's just a different herb. What we do know is that it helps with osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. It helps with asthma, headaches, brain tumors, inflammatory bowel disease, Crohn's disease. It's doing a lot of what tetrahydrocurcumin does. But what is interesting, and we've all heard the phrase of the synergy that certain herbs have with each other. And what the research is showing, that when you can combine the Boswellia with the tetrahydrocurcumin, you get almost a tenfold increase in the function of those two herbs together than when you're using either one independently of each other. So we're already starting with this combination, this energy of two herbs that is really going to upregulate how effective the two herbs are when they're functioning together. Next slide. So in summary, we've researched the herbal anti-inflammatory provides a safe choice over NSAIDs. We all know that. Optimint covers a host of anti-inflammatory health concerns, especially when it's used in long-term effects. Unique to our product is the Siloct Index Key delivery system. Truly where that works the best and where you can focus your discussion with new clients is that this is really what allows our product to be as effective as it is. So you listen to the terminology behind bioavailability. That's a big buzzword that people use constantly. I don't believe there's any product on the market that has the bioavailability that our products do, simply because of the Siloct Index Key delivery system. We're getting, you can read the reviews on turmeric in and of itself, or tetrahydrocurcumin, or just curcumin on that level. Is most of it is destroyed in the stomach when you take those products. If you have them coated in the manner that we do at that molecular encapsulation process, you're going to get the purest and the strongest dose into the gut, where it's going to be absorbed and is going to be most effectively used by the body. So again, I don't believe there's anything out there that provides the bioavailability that these products do. Next slide. So here's the third leg of the trifecta, the genomics. Now I understand this is a product being sold in Mexico. It's not something that we have yet available to us here in the US to really promote heavily. And I hope the day comes soon that we can really push this. But if need be, if you've got a friend or a family member or yourself that is having chronic issues, we can get that for ourselves. We can order it out of Mexico and we can take it for ourselves. And that's at least the start to go with. But we really need the genomics to get the full synergy of these three products working together. Next slide. So why is that? So we know that genomics has been recorded as being the most powerful NRF2 supplement on the market today. It's designed to regulate thousands of genes. Last time I heard through Dr. McCord's group is that we're somewhere over 2,500 genes are being up and down regulated with this product. Next slide. And here's kind of the proof. This is out of Dr. McCord's group. This is the test runs, if you will, on how effective the NRF2 activators are on human liver cells. And here we have it, Protandim on the bottom. We all are familiar with that product. The 4 new NRF2 activators that Joe's group have developed, and the solid green line shining above all of them is the PB123. That is our genomics product. So If you need a visual, there it is. We have the strongest product on the market. Next slide. So NRF2 plays a major role in the cell defense against oxidative stress and inflammation. Again, here's that inflammation discussion. We know that LINK gives us anti-inflammatory responses. We know that Optimend provides an exceptional anti-inflammatory processing. Well, so does the genomics. And the reason for that is that NRF2 activation is actually turning on and turning off the gene expressions. And one set of genes that are the inflammatory genes, we don't want to upregulate them, we want to downregulate those. And genomics has the ability to do that. So genomic utilizes an epigenetic influence to optimize gene expressions and protect your body from the effects of environment. And that's the key sentence that I want to kind of focus on today, is that what we're doing with these three products is we are trying to affect our body to be able to protect it from those environmental invasions, if you will. Next slide. So genomic influences thousands of genes. As I said, last reported, I think we're well over 2,500 genes, which are associated with a variety of diseases and inflammation. So you need those genes to be upregulated or down to be able to fight off disease processes. This is what keeps our autoimmune system at its very best, is if those genes are firing in the manner that they were designed. One conversation with Joe many years ago, when we talk about this NRF2 up and down regulation, we're essentially with NRF2 activation, bringing that system, at least in the manner that it functions, back to the levels that we expect to see in 10, 12, 14-year-old kids. We know that if we continue to take these products, that we're finding that this NRF2 activation can be upregulated to the point where it's at levels that we expect to see in newborn babies. And so if we can get our system functioning at the level that it could when we were children, then certainly our body has a much better ability to defend itself against these chronic diseases that are in our society today. Next slide. So genomics, and I'm not sure what happened here. Let's just bypass this. It inhabits the shutdown pathway in which the cell allows NRF2 to work for extended periods of time. So one of the issues that other NRF2 products have is that they are turning on the NRF2 process, that switching mechanism, if you will, but it doesn't have, those products don't have the ability to leave it on long enough for the NRF2 system, if you will, to be effective. And in other words, it's cycling too quickly. NRF2's on, it's off. NRF2's on, it's off. With the genomics product, what they've been able to do, and the way that Dr. McCord expresses this, and I think it brings it kind of a real life understanding, is that when you turn on that NRF2 process, you're essentially opening the door. So the door is open. Maybe your dog's outside and you're letting it in. The problem with these other NRF2 products on the market is that they're not closing the back door when they do that. So the dog runs in the house and goes right out the back door, and it doesn't have time to stay in the house. When you look at this new NRF2 technology, it has the ability to open the door, but it's closing the back door, so that the fuel that generates the activity of NRF2 upregulation is being better spent. Takes less amount of fuel to create a much better reaction of NRF2 activation instead of burning quickly because the back door is open and it's just coming in and heading out the back side. I hope that makes a little sense. This is the reason why our product is so much better than other NRF2 products on the market, is because we're able to keep that system on longer. The longer you keep the NRF2 activated, the more genes that are being regulated, which is why one product that we're familiar with is upregulating roughly 300 genes. and why our product is upregulating some 2,500 plus genes. Next slide. So it also reduces oxidative stress, protects and affects from the environment. And that again is back to the key discussion that we're talking about today. And I'll go into that a little bit more as we get to the last slide. Next slide, please. So Active's trifecta of products offer truly the single best epigenetic protection on the market today. The synergy between these three products is amazing. I have said for years, since I've developed the understanding of how this cellular pathway system functions, and I'm certainly not an expert at it, but I know it well enough to say that the important process about these epigenetic processes is that you can't rely on one switching system. You can't rely on one cell pathway to fix the body. You have to approach it from a multi-directional approach, if you will. There are more than just an NRF2 pathway. There's more than just a gut pathway. There's more than just an anti-inflammatory pathway. When you can operate all three of those systems and get them working in your body at the level that they need to, you're now getting the whole system working together, opposed to just turning on one switch and hoping that it's going to be broad spectrum and it's going to be a huge fire hose. You're actually getting 3 fire trucks showing up to the house on fire instead of just one. All right, next slide. So that was the last one. So let's talk a little bit, and then I'll close this up. Why I wanted to do this presentation. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to in the last few weeks about this coronavirus concern. You know, I can't come out and say that I think this is a product that will be beneficial to somebody that has coronavirus. I can't come out and say that this trifecta approach is going to prevent people from getting coronavirus, nor can I say that if you have coronavirus that this is going to fix it. What I can tell you is that the reason why the people who are getting the coronaviruses are very likely, the highest percentage of those people are very likely to have really reduced autoimmune systems. I tell doctors every day, and I've been telling them since I got involved in the NRF2 approach, is that the very best thing that we can do is to have our bodies operating at the very best stage that we can, the very best level that we can. That's what these 3 products do. They bring up your autoimmune system to the level where you can defend against diseases. It brings your anti-inflammatory response down to a level that allows the gene expressions from NRF2 to function better, because they're not needing to go into the body to fight all of the inflammation that's in the body. You have the link product to be able to fix the gut, so the gut is healthy, so it's able to prevent the crossover in the blood system from these viruses coming through the gut level. So when you look at all 3 of these products together, you're essentially building your defense mechanism against any kind of pathology, whether it be cancer, whether it be heart disease, whether it be diabetes, whether it be any of these things. If you are putting your cell system, your cellular system, to the level of health that it was when you were a teenager or young, late adolescence, you now have your body in a position where it's capable of fighting these things. So would it help against coronavirus? I'm convinced. I mean, I would go and testify that I'm convinced that if a body was in a healthier stage, that its likelihood of getting coronavirus is going to be reduced dramatically, and its ability to be, if you do receive that virus into your system, if you're at a healthy state, your body's going to fight it easier. And my suspicion is the outcome is going to be far greater in a positive direction if you're on products like these than if you were not. And I think that's the state that we are in the world right now, that the countries that are having the worst effect are in countries where the autoimmune systems are not in a healthy state. Their food intake is not as healthy as it needs to be, and it's putting the body in a vulnerable position to be able to easily obtain these type of viruses. So that's my 2 cents worth today. I'm not making any promises or diagnostic interpretations that these products are going to cure or treat or fix any diseases, but I do believe that if our bodies our autoimmune systems are in a healthy state, we certainly are in a far better position to be able to fight off any disease process out there. And that's my 2 cents for the day. God bless you.